All right, looks like we're live. Welcome, anarchists.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Chance, and this is Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia Vigilantes, episodes 6 and 7. Starting out, what were your thoughts of the two episodes so far,
Like I
or at least
said,
the episode 6, at least?
episode six, a lot of cool things happen. I feel like, you know, of course, we talked about Stendhal or Stain last time,
Yeah,
and this is where we finally get. We talked about maybe happening, but we finally got it. The very next episode was Knuckleduster and Stain actually getting into it just a little bit.
yeah,
Okay. And then we do get a little bit more backstory there as well, and more coming to age for Stendhal or Stain, I believe, because
yeah,
he's still getting these insights and still like kind of gearing more towards that villain side.
yeah. And he still definitely seems to fully perceive himself as a hero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. He's not a phony hero either. Hey, I mean, how you doing?
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
So, I mean, so Stain, basically, and I guess this is where he got his name, right? I know this isn't like right at the beginning. We're not gonna go through that episode little
Yeah.
by little, but at the very end, he talks about his like blood stains,
Right.
right? So I'm guessing that's where he got Stain from. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely does seem like this is kind of like just his transform, almost like transforming his character a bit.
Yeah,
Like he's I think he's coming to the conclusion that this Stendhal personality isn't really um doing it, for him.
what's up, Bookish?
What's up?
That's my wife.
But yeah, I think it definitely seems like he thinks like the Stendhal personality isn't really doing it for like what his purposes, like what he's going for. So he's trying to reinvent himself, I think, to one, put a little bit more um fear into his enemies,
Yeah,
and then two, I think just to be a little bit more accurate to like his inner self, because like he is all about like perception and conviction and like staying true to like who you are, or who you say you are. So I'm thinking that's kind of I think that's what he's going for with the this little rebrand that he's doing.
yeah,
What do you think about his power? Like his blood
dude.
curdle or
Yeah,
whatever they
that's
call it.
crazy. I mean, it's it's pretty. I don't know. There's a. It's a little sickening, you know.
Yeah, and I mean like
He's literally licking people's blood to paralyze them.
yeah, it's pretty like specific, like it is kind of an overpowered like ability, like if he can get to your blood.
Yeah.
I mean, like of course, like
Which
if you
obviously he can pretty easily if he gets it on his sword.
right, yeah. So I mean, oh, hello. Thank you, Mrs. McDudley, for following. We appreciate that. That's my wife. My wife.
And my wife.
No, so I definitely think like so if you know how his power works, right? Like like how he is able to paralyze you, you can kind of counter that pretty easily.
How?
Well, by keeping your distance from him. But then that's
Right,
the
but
issue.
this
That's
dude
the
is so
issue.
fast. He's so agile. I mean, he's literally like doing parkour on buildings and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm surprised that, see, what I thought when we were going to get Knuckleduster and Stain in a fight, I didn't think, yeah, parkour. I didn't think that Knuckleduster would be able to do shit just because of how fast he is.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, obviously, he's really strong, right? Knuckleduster is. But if you can't hit somebody, it's not going to do anything. But this dude literally, like, basically, like, tricked him.
I mean that's true, but I would say so it definitely seems like so Knuckle Duster's big thing is he's oh
Mm.
showing off the mug.
Yeah, quite nice.
Quite nice. Knuckle Duster's whole thing is like anticipation or like analyzing, right?
Right.
So like he's really good at reading opponents, and like he's like almost like a detective. He's kind of like, you know, not nearly to the same degree, but he's kind of like the Batman, of like the My Hero
I mean, you can
universe
tell
right
he's been
now.
trained on
Right,
this.
he's definitely been trained. It like he can fight well. He can anticipate a fighter's movements, which is something like any good fighter like has to be able to do.
Right.
And then on top of that, he seems to be just really good on like analyzing anything in general, like kind of on the spot. Uh, so it's kind of like the age old, like, yeah, like you may be faster than me, but if I can predict your movement, it doesn't matter,
Right.
you know?
And I mean, more power to him. I mean, he may be a washed up alcoholic, but he's got
he does know how to
he's
fight.
got one hell of a right hook.
Yes, he does.
And I do want to say that I was originally saying how dumb he was, right?
Yeah.
But this dude is not dumb at all.
No, that's
Yeah,
that's part of the
yeah,
act,
he's
Yeah,
just
he wants you to think that he's
right.
a dumb, washed
But
up
this dude
alcoholic.
is so smart and so good at what he does.
Yeah.
Like he's just a natural. And to be able to like predict movements of different enemies that are, even from the last few episodes that are like 3 times the size that he is.
Yeah, either way stronger or way faster, but
Right.
he's still able to find a weak point in their abilities and
Right.
still win.
Exactly. But that was like my favorite part of the episode. But there was a point where we see, and this is something I didn't really expect. I don't know if you did or not. Uh, but Queen Bee and Stendhal or Stain are working together. So he's getting blood samples for her, and she's then taking those blood samples and I'm guessing making different forms of trigger.
Probably, yeah.
And I'm guessing the whole thing with trigger is you can make different formulas by maybe it's not just necessarily the blood, but like the DNA of the quirk that a
Right.
certain person has.
Yeah, they would probably need some kind of access to. So then maybe what they can do is replicate that ability to give to somebody else.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So um so obviously I think, these guys, not Stain, of course, he's just kind of helping this girl out. I don't know what for. Like I don't remember exactly what if she said like what's in it for him. Maybe she's just like helping him get to his targets quicker. I don't know. I don't know what's in it for him. Obviously, he's not working for this person yet, but I believe like this whole trigger situation is all for one, right?
well, I think what's in
What's
it.
up, Spence? How you doing?
Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I think what's in it for him is just the fact that he gets to kill people.
No, it's got
Like he
bloodlust.
just he gets to kill people who he thinks are bad people that need to be killed. So
Right,
that's kind of like, and that's why. And he even told Queen Bee like he's like, I'm going to kill you too eventually. One day I'm going to pass judgment on you,
right.
but right now there's no sense in leaving you out on the street to fend on other vermin,
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like as long as you can help me take other criminals out, you're useful to me, so I'll let you live. The second that stops being true, you're done too,
yeah. But she did keep pestering him, and guess what she got for that?
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I mean, do you think she's dead?
No, because she like sat up.
She did sit up.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he basically just he was getting pissed off at her, this little high school girl, and just shot a fucking
You know what I think it
knife.
that's the eye that all of her bees go in and out of. Like
Right.
that's probably like to some sort of like hive or
Yeah, she
something.
probably had some sort of cushion in there.
Yeah.
All of her bees.
Yeah, that was crazy. I definitely wasn't expecting him to do that
No, no, definitely not. But at the same,
because he probably thought it was going to kill her.
right? He probably said fuck it. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't care.
that's true.
And along these lines, and I did tell you this, but I'll tell the viewers this: I have started watching the regular My Hero Academia.
Yes, he has. I'm very.
I'm on season 3 now,
On season 3,
where
okay.
he or Deku is getting trained by
Oh, the old
guy.
Gran Torino.
Yeah, Gran Torino, that
Yeah.
freaking geezer who's fast as shit.
His isn't his quirk like jet stream or something like that?
I don't know, but he always gets pissed off because there's like no food in the microwave or his microwave's broken, something like that. He's just an old fart. Um, but he's a good trainer,
Does he
obviously.
even have a microwave?
Yeah,
He does. It's
they
just broke.
broke it at the beginning, right?
Right.
When they were fighting. And then at the end, he was like, "Why is my microwave broken? I need to get a new one."
It's been a while since I've seen that season. For some reason in my head, I remembered that scene as like him being like he was kept bugging about why my broken microwave, but like the whole time I thought he just didn't have.
Oh, it's because when they first fought,
Oh, okay. At the very,
he
I must
literally
have.
landed on it and it broke.
Gotcha. Okay.
But this dude is like 100 years old and has short-term memory loss. And was like, "What are you doing here? Who are
And he
you?"
trained. He trained All Might.
Yeah,
Also.
but I do in that series. I do finally see Stain
I was
come
about to
into
say you
play.
finally seen Stain at
Yeah.
this point. Then
No mask this time. He's got his long, if you think of Venom from Marvel,
yeah,
he's got this long,
like
slithery
tendrils.
tongue that comes out where he, can lick the blood off of stuff and things.
Disgusting.
And he, is starting to work with the League of Villains,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Shigaraki's crew.
Yeah, and obviously he didn't want to do it at first because of the conviction part of it. He said,
yeah, because they're villains.
Well, not only that, but also that they were just being fucking petty. And
they're just doing it for the sake of it. Yeah, they're not. They don't have any real convictions, is what.
So seeing that, it is crazy to see, and it's just what, a 5-year difference.
Yeah, only 5 years
from this show until the previous show.
Yeah,
this the change that he's made. So a lot of shit has happened, and I don't know if he ever works for the big bad of the series, the all for one, yeah, all for one eventually, or if he just sticks with himself and just is a lone wolf the whole time. But he looks like he's been through hell.
Yeah.
Once you get to the other series.
Well, I can imagine he spent the entire 5 years just actively, probably on the run and constantly just fighting for his life,
killing,
and killing.
So I don't know, but anyway, so I'm getting more of a. Well, it's not really a backstory.
Have you seen the in My Hero proper? Have you seen Stain's fight against Deku and his classmates in the alleyway?
No.
Dude, that is gonna be. I can't wait till you get to that point because it's probably like you're probably like 2-3 episodes away.
I just got to the point where Ingenium is almost killed by him.
Yeah. Okay. So
he's in the hospital.
No, you are extremely close then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you watch these two series, you'll see this. There's a huge transformation between Stendhal or Stain, like 5 years previously, and then him in like the main show.
I really like seeing him now in Vigilantes because like it really kind of paints him as a bit more of like a tragic character. Not quite, not as much as like other characters in other shows, I guess. But I mean, it is interesting seeing him start out when he really does like feel and think that he's a hero. And even though he is doing questionable things and even occasionally fighting like our heroes, you could still make the argument that like he's not really doing anything wrong because he hasn't fought any like government approved heroes or civilians. Yeah. All he's fought so far are villains and illegal vigilantes.
But he is killing them, and that's the difference between him and the heroes and vigilantes.
Where they're just trying to like see justice.
They're trying to subdue them and like get them put in jail.
But the justice system doesn't seem to work because I mean, they lock these criminals up. And then just like in Marvel or DC or anywhere else, I mean, they end up getting right back out.
Or they escape.
Either because...
Hey, Big Papa. How you doing? I appreciate you guys joining.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for watching.
Follow those guys. So, I mean, either way, it is really cool to see how he is now. Because he is... Thank you so much, Spence. Appreciate you. It is really cool to see him now because he's basically like in knight attire, right? And then in the main series, he looks like a damn like homeless mummy.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Big Papa. So, this is awesome. So either way, if you want to talk about, so when they end up fighting, or when Stain finds what was his name, the spiky dude, with the blue hair,
Spike. I mean, that's what's written on his jacket. I don't know his birth name. It's like Soga
or
Kagasuchi.
Stogie. I don't know. So
I guarantee you it's Soga Kagasuchi.
They find him in an alleyway. No, I suck at Japanese names. So they find him in an alley, and of course Queen Bee is there or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's trying to give this dude Trigger.
Yeah, she wants him to keep fucking shit up around the city.
Right, exactly. And Trigger, for those of you who don't know, is basically a steroids for superhumans, I guess, or regular people, and they'll give them like.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like we've said this in an earlier episode. It seems kind of like it's like Compound V from The Boys, where if you have powers already, it'll kind of like one, it's kind of like a drug where it kind of like messes with your mind, so it'll get you high, and then two, it enhances whatever powers you have. Or if you're a normal person with no powers, it'll give you powers, which we're theorizing are based off of whatever DNA sample was used to make that set of triggers.
So whatever quirk that person had that they got the sample from.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking it is.
Yeah.
So
when that all happens, right, he, gets pissed off.
Yep.
Because he's like, no, it turned me into a monster, right? So I guess he's not like a regular thug like we thought. He's just kind of like
misunderstood.
He's kind of sticking with his morals and his values there.
But like in every situation where he has been made out to be a quote unquote villain or a criminal, it's because he.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. But it's like it's because he's being pushed into that direction by people automatically assuming he's going to be a villain based off of his quirk, and that happened in episode 6, right?
Yep.
So that ties directly into episode 7, which is what the entire episode is about, which is why. Today we're talking about My Hero Academia Vigilantes, episodes 6 and 7 specifically. The
most recent ones to come out.
Yeah. But that ties directly into what the entirety of episode 7 is about, and that's why the hero registration system was put into place in the first place, and how the government determines who is a hero and who is a villain for using their powers. They draw a line,
but it's a very thin line.
Yeah, so out of the, like what they said in episode 7 is that when quirks first started awakening across the planet, because it was a special event. Like if you've seen My Hero, like quirks started appearing when a baby was born in all glowing light, probably Jesus. It's probably their universe is Jesus, or something like that. Where once that baby was born, suddenly people all over the planet started awakening powers or being born with powers, and like it's like 80 or 90% of the
80%.
Yeah, 80% of the population
has like some sort of superhuman ability, which they call quirk.
And most like aren't something that you could be a superhero with. I mean, some are pretty lame.
Some people can like fold towels with their mind.
Yeah, but that's it. Like not telekinesis, just how we'll fold.
Yeah.
And some people just are towels. Or like you're a washing machine, So, or one guy has a bottle of Kleenex. Like,
could you imagine being a washing machine? That'd be sick.
Washing Machine Man's powers, I'm not gonna lie, kind of OP. Like when you really get to see him in action later in My Hero.
Oh my god!
But like,
you're actually serious. I didn't know that was a thing. I know there were cat people, and
there's a washing machine.
The mouse person, which is the prince.
There's a washing machine man.
Oh my god!
I'm
jealous.
No, but anyway, yeah. So the whole thing, like, the argument being made is that not everybody who is labeled as a villain is actually a villain. It's all like government propaganda and to kind of push forward a certain controllable image that the government can fully control with the heroes, the pro heroes.
Yeah.
And then everyone else because because their quirks are dangerous and because they're technically labeled as a villain,
Yeah.
they can be arrested and taken off the streets.
And I mean, I think this is what would happen in real life if this was a thing. You know, the government would try to control it.
Yeah, and then whoever the government deems to be threats to them,
Right.
suddenly, oh, your power is too dangerous, or you have a history of being a little, I don't know, like unpredictable, so you're a villain, you know? Yeah.
Or if somebody gets just F's in class, you know, they could be labeled a villain anyway. But yeah, government and private agencies, right? Because
Yeah.
there's agencies as well that, you know, these corporations basically that hire these heroes, and it's basically like a huge like marketing ploy, right? I mean, they still save people, but
Yeah, absolutely. There's still no the heroes that are heroes.
yeah,
They are heroes. That's not. We're not debating that.
but the image is all about money, marketing,
And who
all
can
that
and
stuff.
and the thing is like the what the corrupt part is like who's controlling who can become a hero and like
Right.
what a hero is, you
Right.
know.
Exactly. And so that's yeah, I mean a good segue to episode 7. This girl that's in class with Koichi.
Yeah.
She's basically, I don't know. She said it was going to be her thesis or something like that. I guess she's somewhat of a reporter, but basically she is,
Or at least wants to be.
yeah, she's basically trying to figure out how the line was drawn, basically, with heroes versus villains, like back in the day when it first came about, the Civil Wars, and you know the first vigilantes that really were the ones that became the first heroes. And
So in the My Hero Academia like universe, in like the back lore of this universe, you know, where we pick up in both Vigilantes and like the original like the proper show is that, you know, oh well, it's been decades, you know, if not almost like 100 years of heroes existing. You know, it's been a long time,
right,
at least like a generation or two. Um, at least, you know, like it could be a little bit more. But anyway, essentially, the thing is, like, before pro hero agencies were a thing, and before the government kind of privatized this industry of heroes, all you had was just like kind of like in like Marvel and DC, like you just had vigilantes, people who just had powers, saw all the chaos going around from so much of the population being superpowered and probably
right.
a huge uptick in like criminal activity. So they just kind of like
Superhuman
yeah, superhuman criminal activity. So these people just started stepping up as vigilantes, fighting crime just because it was the right thing to do, just to kind of create order and peace, you know, on the streets again. And then after the first little bit, once order had kind of like been restored somewhat, then the government kind of took control over, okay, so now that the pieces, now that we're in peacetime and we don't have, you know, we're not like almost like in war, you know, we can start, okay, let's create a system to determine, you know, who is a hero, like, and how we can control them to like work for the government, right? And so now you have to get a license to use your powers out publicly
and
as a
also
hero.
spread propaganda as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like you have 189 heroes in what was it, Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Rhode Island in the United States was the first place where they got the first hero certifications, right? The first legal hero.
Which is so random in my opinion. You know, this place takes place in like Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
And but it came from just random.
Well, you'll see in My Hero, you'll see later on when the war against Shigaraki's League of Villains and All for One really kicks off into full gear, and they get into full blown war, like at the near the end of the series. You'll see Japan isn't the only ones fighting off this threat. Like they get assistance from other countries, specifically like the United States, also. Because while All Might was like the number one hero in Japan, there were other heroes other number one heroes that like could rival All Might, you know, or like close to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so out of the 189 vigilantes that helped bring peace to like in the United States, only 7 were recognized by the government to be actual heroes
7
and
out of
given out of 189, and only those 7 were given proper hero licenses. The rest were all labeled as villains and locked away.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's cause for rebellion, period. Right?
yeah, I mean, that's definitely cause for concern because, like, out of 189 heroes, because, like, when Koichi posed the question, or what was her name? Manaka?
Makoto.
Makoto?
Yeah.
Well, when she posed the question to Koichi, how many of those vigilantes do you think actually got registered? He said he thought about half, and I thought that seemed a little bit more realistic.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
it did. You know,
that would make more sense.
That would make a lot more
right.
sense. But like,
draw the line at half. Yes.
Well, or even like just pure numbers. I mean, like even if like a third only made it, you know, because there's a lot of other factors to consider than just what your power is. You also have to factor in people's mindset, you know, morality and stuff. But I'm guessing, and we'll probably we're definitely gonna get more like about this as the show goes on. I'm sure, but I'm guessing what the determining factor truly for the government was loyalty to like whatever your government is, and how easily can you be controlled by them.
Basically, how easily can you be manipulated by the system.
Yeah. So while, like I said, while those 7 people that did get selected to be heroes probably are genuinely good heroes and just mean well, it's the system that put them there. It has issues because like we're not sure how they're really determining who's a villain, and it seems like they're just saying like, I don't know, anyone could be named as a villain if they don't feel like you can be controlled.
Yeah.
You know,
or get a parking ticket. All right, you're a villain.
Yeah,
you can be locked up now. That's crazy.
Or like even like they've even said like, yeah, like your first ever offense isn't gonna get you necessarily labeled as a villain unless you probably
but like
kill
5
people.
or 6 parking tickets. That's
right. Yeah, you know. But I mean, like imagine like you're a kid, you know, like Soga. You know, like he accidentally hurt some kids with his powers because he's got like Wolverine powers, kind of like his claws.
Claws and stuff.
So like he accidentally hurt some kids, and because of that, he's constantly being treated like he's some kind of criminal and like he's going to hurt everyone. And so because he's constantly being talked down to, not trusted, and you know, and put down as a villain, of course he's going to turn to crime. He's not being given any legitimate options in life.
Right.
He can't go get a hero's license. He can't get a regular job. What else is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. So, Big Papa, it's what's crazy about heroes. If the government can't control you, you're a villain back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like that's how it would be in real life.
Well, dude, even like in like the MCU, right? Like Disney's like superhero universe.
Look what they did
to Captain America. Because he didn't want to be the government's puppet. He was labeled as a criminal and on the run for a couple years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
instead of just doing stupid shit.
Captain America. Yeah. You know, like
the super soldier.
Yeah.
Like a legitimate super soldier. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's what's kind of cool about this show is that there's like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like there are things that you can pertain to like what could happen in real life.
Yeah, it's a good social commentary like on like our actual like society and like how things would go. I also kind of liken it just similarly to like The Boys. Oh yeah, it's your cute puppy.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of liken it to The Boys where like, okay, if like people with powers really did exist, I think yes, we probably would have like licensed heroes, right? That would eventually become a thing. Like eventually,
it would be professional.
We would have vigilantes at first. There would be just people.
Coulson said, "Bubba."
There would be hey Coulson. There would be people that are just fighting crime and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But eventually, the government would get involved. And they would,
100%.
because like in the MCU, you had the like Sokovia Accords that control what superpower beings can do.
Yeah.
In Marvel Comics, you had the Superhuman Registration Act, which exactly the same thing. In the X-Men movies, you had the Mutant Registration Act, which did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
In DC, where they don't necessarily have to register with the government, anyone engaging in like superhero activity, like if they're part of a team, like the Justice League, right?
Yeah.
They have to. You're good. But like even the Justice League has like a charter.
I got licked in the mouth.
You're good. Yes, Reese is very cute.
Yes, very cute.
But yes, like even the Justice League, who's got like Superman, Wonder Woman, all these paragons of good leading them, right? Even they have a charter with the United Nations, and they can only operate legally in countries where the United Nations give them permission to operate.
Right.
Like they can't just go into, Afghanistan and just in conflict over there, right?
Right.
Because they don't have a legal right to do
Because
so.
then that would be like a declaration of war.
And that was the whole thing, like in the Man of Steel movie, when Superman did exactly that, because Lois was went undercover trying to do some story on a terrorist organization out in the Middle East. I don't even remember what country it was, but she gets captured and probably about to be killed. Superman literally invades this foreign country. And again, like, he doesn't work for the United States, but because he's a symbol of the United States,
Yeah.
that like he's acting on behalf of them.
100%.
Yeah. Like so, like, oh, poor dog, what's wrong?
And to kind of segue back into the show, in one of our previous episodes, that's why we said that with what's going on now in the shadows, in this show's timeline,
Yeah.
right, with the drugs, trying to find the source of the trigger. A lot of things are happening in the shadows, in the alleyways. These aren't going to be like the spotlight heroes that we see. That's not going to be a job for them because they get called upon for grand things.
Yeah.
Right? If there's commotion in the streets and everybody sees, right, and the police and the heroes are called, but this is in the shadows. If they're not going to get the pro heroes aren't going to get any recognition for it, right? So why would they come out there? Or if they come out there on their own, they're not going to get any publicity.
Or like what we've seen so far, like with the pro heroes that we have seen, like Ingenium and Eraserhead, is that they're just coming across these situations by chance.
Right.
They're not getting called here. They're just running into them by chance.
And they're not going to be getting called there just because it's in the shadows. So these vigilantes are going to be crucial. They're going to be critical to figuring out this problem, in which I believe is going to follow the trail to All for One, right? The big bad of the whole series.
The whole series, both series.
Yeah, and so and what's crazy is that while I'm watching the main show, right?
Yeah.
Or what do you call it? The proper?
Yeah.
My Hero Academia proper. Everything that it's mentioned a lot. Okay, this happened 5 years ago. This happened I got injured 5 years ago. All Might, and he's got this like huge like. I don't even break.
Oh yeah, it's like and
it doesn't heal. It's just it's part of it.
And that's why even before he like transfers his powers to Midoriya, he's like losing his ability to hold his power.
He can only do it for at the beginning it was like 3 hours at a time, and now it's only like an hour at a time.
Now he can only do an hour once he's given his.
And then he turns into like this really skinny odd looking dude, which was his like regular. Like, that's what he regularly looks like.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody knows. But either way, so I know for a fact that this show is building up to something ridiculously crazy. There's got to be some huge event that happens in this timeline that everybody is referring to in the main show.
Yeah.
The main series.
I just wonder, are we going to see that? Or are we going to see what's happening in the shadows behind the scenes while that's happening in the public? You see?
I
want to see like All Might's fight against All for One, where they defeat each other, basically.
Yeah.
Where like All Might wins, but gets that grievous injury. But like, and then behind that, maybe like while that's going on, we see Knuckleduster and his team taking out this drug
Like number
operation.
6 or
Yeah, they take out Six and Queen
so.
Bee.
I don't know. See, well, I think what I'm gonna predict, and it's probably gonna be wrong. Uh, is that all of this is gonna be in the shadows for like the main portion of the series, right?
Yeah.
But everything is gonna lead up to that one boiling point moment, and we're gonna get to see it at the very end of the series, and that's what I'm hoping as well. Uh, but that's just what it seems like to me. Because I mean, all this stuff is just slowly burning, slowly boiling up. I mean, it has been a very slow build,
Yeah.
right? A lot of character building, a lot of I guess historical
Yeah,
information.
like I said, I loved episode 7.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite episode so far, just because we got so much like lore and like world building,
Yeah.
and I'm a
So
sucker for that stuff.
it has been a slow build, but I'm almost certain that that's what's going to happen because this is all just prequel stuff to like the
Yeah.
main event that is mentioned so much in the main series, and it would be stupid for us not to be able to see it, for them not to put that in there. In my opinion, I mean, what do you think?
No, I think so too. It would be a huge miss. Like I could totally see them not doing it, right? I could totally see them like saying, or like maybe like we get like a few shots of like the fight going on like up on the street level, and then like in some secret layer, they're Knuckle Duster and Koichi and them are destroying Trigger and taking down the operation, while the public is watching like the two figureheads fighting.
Yeah.
But we don't get to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but I hope they don't. I really want to be able to see
Is
that.
there, and I know you've seen the whole thing, or almost the whole thing.
Yeah, I've seen most of it.
Is there any mention of Trigger in the main series?
Not that I can think of. Like, I don't think Trigger is like. I think Trigger was like introduced for the story.
Okay. All right, I wasn't sure if it.
And keep in mind also, it is a different mangaka who wrote this than who wrote My Hero. It's not the same person.
Oh, see, I didn't know.
They're set in the same universe, and they they worked together to kind of storyboard things to make sure things were like consistent with the original mangaka's work.
I really got to calm down, sir.
But yeah, it is.
His Uncle Bubba.
But it is a completely different author who wrote this story, the prequel story from the original.
Oh God, I hope that we get something crazy at the end. Because if not, I'm gonna be, of course the information is great and fine, but I'm gonna be very underwhelmed if something crazy doesn't come with all this building.
I think because like this story came out, so Vigilantes started and finished before My Hero finished
in 2022, right? Or
yeah,
that's when it ended.
Vigilantes,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the manga run for Vigilantes. But so like they had to. This story kind of has to be like self-contained. All they really had to worry about doing is they just had to make sure whatever they do wouldn't like change or affect what happens in the main story later on. It just kind of has to tie together.
Yeah.
So I mean, even I don't know. I think they're doing a pretty good job of that, where they're definitely setting things up for what I guess you now like know to be true in the present day.
Yeah.
But he's starting to calm down. He's just pacing.
Hopefully he doesn't have to go out. But yeah, I mean, all right, we need to kind of go back a little bit. So Koichi.
Yeah.
All right, because I was going to talk about this a while ago, and we just went into a huge rabbit
tangent.
hole. Yeah, it happens. All right, we're both ADHD, I believe. So, so when Stain and Queen Bee and the Spike dude are in the alleyway, right? Queen Bee, after Soga, whatever. After he slaps the trigger out of her hand, and is like, "I'm not gonna use it." She's like, "You're still gonna get it." And then one of her bees comes out, and injects him, like stings him, injects him with trigger. he grows to this monstrosity. It looks like a damn,
Porcupine.
yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
porcupine, but it's just massive. And freaking Koichi, all right, comes in and does his, I'm not going to call it skeet this time.
Thank you.
He doesn't skeet. He slides and glides.
Well, you still said it twice. I mean,
He still slides and glides and tries to save this dude from
Yeah.
Stain because he knows Stain is going to kill him.
yeah.
And he knows that he doesn't deserve death.
Yeah, if anything, he just needs to be locked up a little bit.
Yeah.
The trigger will get out of his system.
So
he needs help.
He tries to, get him out into like the main streets so that Stain
Will stop following them.
Yeah. But of course, then, he gets caught by the blood curdle.
Yeah.
Right. And he can't move, this, that, and the other thing. But I just thought it was crazy. Like, there's another act right here that you see the main character, Koichi, or Crawler, being so selfless. Even a person that hurt him before, hurt other people, like hurt his friends, right? Or people in his group. He's like, you know what? You don't deserve to die. I'm gonna save you from somebody that's literally bloodthirsty.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I don't know. I think that's what heroes do, And I mean, like, and I don't believe I'm not the kind of person who believes that, like, oh, a hero can't kill ever, no matter what. But I definitely don't.
Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool's not a hero though.
He says he's not a hero.
He's not a hero. He's a murderer. Like he's someone who like. Deadpool is somebody, like, he will probably choose the greater good over a greater evil, but in terms of, like, little acts of, like, good and bad, he picks the bad more often than good.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it, and that's only if you consider killing people a little act, So, I mean, like...
viciously murdering.
Yeah, like, sure, the people he's killing are bad guys, but, like...
But it's still murder.
It's still murder, and there's still also the question of, like, so what were we just talking about with Soga? How he's misunderstood and pushed into that life. He didn't choose to be a villain.
Right.
What if a lot of these, like, gunmen... what if a lot of these gunmen and, like, henchmen that he ends up... That Deadpool kills... What if they're just doing this to feed their families? Because they're in a similar boat,
That's true. That's very true. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. You got to give me a minute, bud. So, but yeah, it just shows the selfless act. But if we let's fast forward, to episode 7 again. So this girl, Makoto, whatever her name is, she's in his class. We come to find out. Well, one, I thought this was a cool, I guess, tie-in, is that her older brother is like the detective that All Might works with, I believe, right, in the main series. So there's kind of a tie-in there, but she has a polygraph quirk.
Yeah.
If she touches you, she can tell if you're lying or not. And so I knew she was going to ask this because Koichi has no freaking real disguise, right? He just has a freaking All Might hoodie.
Yep.
That's not gonna fool. I guess that could fool stupid people, like Superman and Clark Kent. I guess. Yeah.
That's like if I put on my Goku hoodie and some sunglasses and went out and started being a vigilante. Like,
who are you?
Yeah, but anyone who's ever seen me in the coat is gonna know.
Right. Exactly. So, I knew but she literally straight up asked him when she shakes his hand, or she was like, "You are the Crawler, aren't you?" And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, oh, well, I guess you're telling the truth.
But she knows.
That was like her whole thing, though.
Yeah.
But no, then she goes back and she's like, I thought I had something, but I don't. But then she was like, well, maybe my quirk is off or something. But I think she truly believes that now, like, he's not the Crawler.
Well, some people can fool a polygraph. So, I mean...
That's true, but he's just a college kid. He's not like some CIA operative, right?
Well, what if he's just a sociopath? What if lying just comes so naturally to him that he doesn't change his heart rate? I mean, we can't discount that. I know we haven't necessarily seen evidence to that, but we can't discount it.
Maybe he's a sociopath. That's true.
No, I don't think that's what it is, but I mean, I don't know.
But I mean, she's the either
Sure,
way.
there's an explainable reason.
She's this quote unquote like
A lie detector.
well, yeah, but like hot chick, right?
Oh, hot shit.
That comes in like and just starts talking to him because he's like a loner and like a
Yeah.
creeper in school and nobody likes him, and she
Only backing up my argument that
just got
maybe he's a
these
sociopath.
giant boobs or whatever, and just in his face flirting with him, and obviously she's working him to try to
Yeah.
get close to because she thinks that he's the crawler. But she's trying to do all this research on the
Investigate.
three
Yeah.
vigilantes, Knuckleduster, the crawler, and Pop Step. And so she literally like invites herself to his creepy abandoned building that he lives in.
Yep.
That all the other people think he's a creeper for trying to invite girls to this abandoned building. It's not his fault. Okay, not his fault. He lives at the top of it. Okay, it's like some sort of like a dorm, but nobody else lives in this damn building for some reason. But when she's coming there, she knocks on the door. Now, Pop Step is in his closet.
Yep.
And I don't remember why she's in his closet. She's like snooping around or something, or she was.
Well, I think he told her to.
No, he doesn't know that she's there.
Well, she popped out right after.
But I guess maybe she was just chilling in there, like, I don't know.
Or maybe she hid once she realized that there was a girl.
I guess.
I don't know, because she was like, "Why do I have to hide when I've been here way longer?"
But you could tell this girl is like, I knew for a fact that she liked Koichi because he saved her when she was a child.
Yeah.
Because when this girl comes in, well, for one, Koichi's throwing all of his trash and shit in the closet. He doesn't know she's in there, so it's just hit her all over. Yeah. But when she comes in and they're kind of like flirting with each other, she's just getting pissed off about it. And even like later on when he's like showing her around, she's like, "Why are you showing her around? Why are you doing this with her?"
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I knew there was going to be something there. Hopefully it doesn't come to fruition.
I hope that nothing.
Because she's like 14 and he's 23.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the same age difference between your sister and me.
Yeah, except the difference is
we were adults.
Yeah, she was an adult when you met her, so it was okay. Pop Step is still very much 15.
Yeah. So I knew there was gonna be something there, but we do get to see a weird quirk in that episode just called soccer.
Oh yeah. It took me a minute to register that he was using a quirk and not just playing soccer really well.
It's just so random.
It actually, I wasn't sure. I was like, what? I was like, is this a quirk? And then when like soccer popped up on the screen, I was like,
soccer.
I was like, but he's just playing soccer.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. But he just, I guess, constantly has a soccer ball with him, and is constantly dribbling with it. While he's doing that, he snatches this. Do
you think he dribbles the soccer ball in his sleep, or while he's having sex?
For his sake, I hope not, but probably.
That's terrible.
Probably. I mean, you only get one quirk, right? And why not use it 24/7?
I guess, yeah.
So he catches this girl's laptop that she's been using to do some like, I guess surveying, on the three vigilantes. The creeper was Old Man Fist. Whoa. The Fister? What do they call him?
Oh, I don't remember.
It can't be the Fister. That's interesting name.
It doesn't. It can't. It could be. It could be what it is.
Well, I'll get back to that. But this soccer quirk guy, steals her laptop, but he's still playing soccer while he's running with the laptop, but still playing soccer. Koichi's like, okay, I need to go get that laptop, but I can't let her know that I'm the crawler. So he runs into this alleyway and then he slides and glides and tries to catch up to him, but then he gets nailed in the face with a soccer ball.
Yeah.
And then the dude that's apparently in middle school with a laser eye.
Yeah, the 30-year-old middle schooler.
Shoots him. Yeah, the middle schooler with facial hair that looks older than the main character. Shoots him and is the hero of the day.
Yeah.
Just what a random sort of event that was.
I know.
I mean, just... Oh, do you think that was just filler?
I mean, yeah, everything doesn't have to mean something, but...
Freaky Fist Grandpa.
Freaky Fist Grandpa.
Okay, there's the creeper, who is the crawler.
Or they also call him the crueler.
The crueler. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the crueler. He's creepy, and what else? Not nice, but everybody knows Pop Step, right?
Yeah.
And here comes another sort of sexual innuendo with a underage person. The survey, most of it was she has a nice butt.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So there's that. But anyway, I think episode 7. I mean, it was very cool to have that history, those facts, stuff like that. But a lot of it, in my opinion, was like filler and just random shit. What do you think?
I mean, I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if it was filler, but
it was random shit then.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think it was just. I mean, yeah, it's probably just to pad out some time, but I mean, you're probably gonna get a lot of like little moments like that where like he might have where it looks like he might have to like reveal himself, like reveal his powers to like save the day, like while they're like in their civilian, lives or whatever.
Yeah.
Thus, like giving up his secret.
No bites, sir. No
I think having those two that kid there, that kind of gives a reason to like avoid that, but then like what's the purpose of it,
Yeah.
So
100%.
I don't know. But I guess everything can't move the plot forward.
Right. So I see on here it said that Endeavor was in this episode.
Yeah, he was shown in a very clip.
Oh.
Remember when they were when Soga and his buddies were at the hospital and they were talking about what Trigger did for their powers, and the big guy with the fire was like, all it did was give me bigger flames. What do I need that for? And they were like, oh man, you looked really cool. You just look like just like Endeavor. Right. And then it just showed a picture of Endeavor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
So I wanted to kind of segue that. So you told me that Endeavor is basically a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Number 2 hero in the main series, right under All Might.
Yep.
He's basically All Might's rival. Even tried to create his son to beat All Might, which is ridiculous.
Yep. Which a lot of people in the My Hero universe do. They will choose partners to conceive children with based on what quirks they and their partner have, so that their child will be like the ultimate hero and have like two OP powers.
It's like arranged marriages to bring two cultures together.
It's great, but with quirks to create like a superhero. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that I can tell now why, and probably not all, but why he is a big piece of shit. Right.
Yeah, they get even more into what actors.
Yeah. Get the backstory of his son. What was his last name? Shoto or something?
Shoto Todoroki.
Shoto Todoroki. That he Endeavor beat his mom. Was basically like militarizing his son while he was like 3 years old. To become the best hero in the world, and just for some petty rivalry.
Yep.
And it was to the point where, and this was obviously bad too, but his mom poured boiling water on her son's face.
Yeah.
The side of his face that reminded her of Endeavor.
Yeah, the fire.
That's how bad Endeavor was.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, man. Like when we read some stuff about this show, Reese, that's a candle. It states how Endeavor may get into some how do I word, some shittiness, right?
Yeah.
Like basically this is where he becomes really shitty. And it's like, okay, he's already an asshole in the main series, right? So what is he going to do in this series that makes him a terrible, like even more terrible person?
Well, if you think what we're seeing,
morality-wise,
what we're seeing is we're seeing him in the prime of his career, but we're also seeing him at around the age where he would have been abusing his family.
That is true.
Because we're 5 years before the series starts.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so this is the time of this is the time in his career where he was most likely doing the most abusing of his family.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, man.
But
you're in an interesting position to be watching both shows at the same time.
Right.
I like that for you.
Yeah, it is interesting. But I will say, me being me and being, what do you call it, a shonen bro?
Yeah, I do call you a shonen bro.
The whole Deku situation, I'm pretty into it. Like the amount of power this dude has is just fucking crazy.
And you literally haven't even seen the half of what he can do.
Only 5% of All Might's power is what he has right now.
Oh, he's not finished training yet?
No.
He's still in the middle of training?
Still training, yeah.
Wait. Dude, just wait till you see what he can do once he steps out of this training arc.
Because he can just now, like, get his whole body in, like, ready for the, what does he call it? The
full cowling?
The smash or whatever.
Oh, so he's not full cowling yet.
He tried full cowling.
Okay.
Right, and he basically scratched this weird grandpa, forgot his name.
Okay. Gran Torino.
Just scratched him, and that was all he could do to him. But he can't, he still has to build up that energy before he can do anything. And this Gran Torino is so freaking quick. He like doesn't have the only way he was able to do the full cowling or whatever it is, was to climb under a couch so that Gran Torino couldn't like hit him quickly so he could build himself up, and then he just basically punched the couch out.
Yeah, he just within the next couple of episodes, by the time he finishes his training arc with Gran Torino, he is going to be truly on a completely different level of power. Not that now I don't want you to think, oh, he's going to be like punching harder or anything like that. He's not going to be like, oh, fast,
breaking himself,
but he's not going to be breaking himself, and he's going to be much more versatile. Yeah. So like, he can have a knockdown drag out with somebody like now, you know.
And for those of you who don't know Deku, literally when you first got his power, the power was so powerful,
so much for his like weak body.
Yeah, that even if he like flicked air at somebody, it would break his finger. If he punched somebody, it would break his whole arm. If he even jumped with the power that he has,
and he wasn't like weak either. Like he had fully very defined muscles and a six pack. Like about 6 months.
6 months. Yeah, like every single day, moving this massive amount of garbage.
And then plus, where you are in season 3, he's been in school for months and months, like a couple semesters now.
Been training, you know, with the actual heroes,
right? So.
But still, and it's only 5% of All Might's power. That just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Because that's
just
ridiculous.
Yep.
But I want to say that the, what was it, the school festival or whatever it was? Yeah. Was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was like their tournament art, because every good anime needs a tournament art.
You get to actually see, like, everybody's quirks, even Class 1B and, like, the support classes.
Yeah.
You get to see what they can do. And, they actually are very good, you know. Yeah, especially that guy that can manipulate your mind if you like answer his question.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, could you imagine having him as part of their hero saga? You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's stuck in what 1B because he didn't do well on the test or something like that. Well, he doesn't have like a flashy.
Was he in 1B or was he support class?
1B.
He was in 1B.
Yeah, okay. 1B. He was the one that said, you know, those of us in 1B that can like beat out the 1A guys can, you know, kind of move up into 1A.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's super powerful. It just shows that they're just the immense amount of power at UA, which is the top of the top school and the world, I guess.
Yeah.
For hero training. And then you get to see just like the grand differences in quirks, and quirks are basically it's kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen, where it's like unique to that person, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so everybody has a different quirk. I mean, there's a character that has sticky balls on his head. He just throws sticky balls.
Because even if you have even if you're two people with the same quirk, it's not going to be exactly the same. Because we have the two kids, I don't remember their names off the top of my head. The rock guy and the steel guy. Yeah, they do the exact same thing.
They both get hard.
And they both But like their durability, like neither seem, even though like one's rock and one's steel, neither seems to be clearly more durable than the
No,
other.
because they fought to a stalemate, and the
Exactly.
rock guy was just able to beat him in arm wrestling. That
Yeah.
that was the only difference there.
Yeah. So like they're exactly the same powers, but a little different.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, there's Endeavor's son who has both his mom's quirk and his dad's, which
Yep.
is ice and fire. I guess the Game of Thrones reference there. But but no, I mean it's crazy. I mean, there's somebody, the girl with the gadgets, right? She's just a support character, and she was only there to basically like market herself.
Oh, what was her name? She was an interesting character.
Yeah, she was, but she helped Ingenium with certain
Yeah.
things, and well, not Ingenium yet, but
Yeah.
Ingenium's little brother,
Tenya
Tinya,
Ida.
yeah. Oh God, there were just so many. One guy can copy your quirks. He was in 1B for some reason. Uh, I don't know. There's so much, and we talked about this before, and I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I've just been like engrossed in both of these series.
Yeah.
This one universe,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like been flooding me with information that I didn't know else,
Yep. For sure.
otherwise. But we talked about this before, is that the main difference that we're kind of happy about in Vigilantes than in the main show is that in the main show there are so like exhaustingly many, I guess, could be main characters that you have to follow.
Yeah,
Right.
there's just it's an ensemble cast, which I like a good ensemble anime.
Yeah, but it's
like
so
they do
much.
it like some shows like Naruto do it a little bit better because like yes, you do have like 13 or 14 of what you could call like main cast members, but like a lot of them a lot of them don't show up as much. So like when you do get to see them, you can focus on them, but like they're not like all constantly stories playing out at the same time.
Yeah.
Always.
So, I mean,
you know?
it's kind of like hard to keep up with.
And there's more cast members in My Hero than there is in Naruto. So like and they all are showing much more often,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
At least in the beginning.
Like, yeah, and at least
later
because
on,
right
like
now,
I said,
they're together every single.
but
day.
then later on, you're gonna find like characters like Tenya who like should be like your fourth guy. Like one of the biggest characters in the class is gonna disappear for like a whole season or two. Like like I don't know, but
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But I mean, not necessarily a bad way, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're laying in bed watching it on mute and you're just trying to like
Can't relate to that.
keep up with it.
I listen to my animes.
But it's a lot. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I do love it. But in Vigilantes right now, we're only really following three main characters.
Yeah, everyone else is kind of coming and going.
I mean, you can tell that they're extras.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they really only show up for like one episode. Like Eraserhead came and went. Ingenium came and went.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, I mean, there's, as I said before, still building. I know that there's got to be some sort of climax at some point, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be. Well, for one, I know Stain is probably going to be a climax, maybe this season, maybe the end of the season. Could be a climax for this season.
Yeah, so I could see it going two ways. Also, I could honestly see them just not even bringing Stain back. Like I could see them just saying like, okay, he dipped. He's gonna go off and do shit for 5 years, and then we'll see him again in the main show. But I hope they don't do that. I hope that we get to see more of him.
Considering they're already making him what seems to be a big part.
He's been in 2 episodes so far,
but he comes in with such a presence, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you're not gonna like overlook him. You're not gonna like miss.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The episode, right?
For sure.
He's such like a main guy in these in these episodes. They got to be doing something with him, and there's got to be the backstory there for him. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Or else, why even bring him in the first place? You know what I mean? if they're not going to continue on building on that.
Yeah, like I said, I do think they did just enough because you get to see so much of his character and like what he's about in the main show. I think they did do just enough that if they wanted to just cut him out of the show now, they could, and everything you get enough information about him in the past, but everything is still left ambiguous enough where you're like, okay, he really was trying to be a hero. These vigilantes helped him realize what he was doing just wasn't good enough and he's got to change like his whole identity.
Phony heroes
and then now at the very last scene you see him in, he has changed his identity into what we know in My Hero, and then we don't see him again. And then we don't see him again in the show. So I mean, I could see that happening, but I do hope we get to see him more.
I hope so too. Yeah, because I mean, he is pretty badass. Even though he's obviously bad.
Yeah.
He is pretty badass. So I would like to see that, and to see how more of how he's become how he is now in the main show. I mean, is there anything else in this show? You know, you seeing more of the main show. Is there anything else in Vigilantes that you think are gonna come into play, or you want to come into play to kind of give you more backstory or information on the main show?
No, not really. I mean, like, I definitely want to see more of. I mean, other than what happens to All Might and All for One. I do want to see that play out on screen. The Stain thing, like, I mean, like, I want to see more of him, but I don't have anything in particular that I want to see. I just want him to be in the show more.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have any like ideas of like what should happen to his character for him to end up where we see him in My Hero. But as for like All Might and All for One, I definitely want to see their like fated confrontation where they defeat each other, you know, or like where All Might finally defeats All for One, but like gets his injury, you know, like that's the main thing that I really want to see.
Obviously, I'm still learning, so
I mean, like I think it'd be cool if we could see maybe like a young, like if maybe we see like All for One meeting like a young Shigaraki at the near the end. But other than that,
Shigaraki's the guy that basically can like is like corrosive, right?
Yeah, Shigaraki's the guy with the hand on his face. Yeah.
And he can like touch you and like disintegrate or like Hi, wife.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, I love you.
I'll bring him back up.
Okay. We're almost. I mean, we're at time. But before we go, have you? And I haven't. Have you been watching any of the other shows?
No, not real. Not with the funeral and
JJK
everything.
and I haven't been watching Fire Force, and I'll tell you why. So me watching these shows usually on mute at nighttime when I'm laying in bed. I obviously have to read subtitles, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what is wrong with this show, Fire Force, but their subtitles are always off. Like they're like delayed by like a whole scene.
Really?
Yeah. And I know it's not Crunchyroll because other shows are perfectly fine.
Interesting.
But just Fire Force, it's like I cannot watch it because it literally, I'll be reading the subtitles and they were for like an entire scene back.
Have you tried watching the first couple seasons of Fire Force on Hulu instead?
No. I didn't know they were on Hulu.
I think it's on Hulu. Oh. I'm not 100% sure. Try that next, I guess. But what else have you been watching though? You said you started Naruto a little bit.
Yeah, and then I stopped because I'm watching My Hero Academia. So
how far did you get into that?
They just.
Would you get to the Land of Waves?
Yes, and they had just beat, but not really beat that one like Black Ops. Yes, guy, but he got rescued by they didn't know it was a rescue. Yeah, and that's basically it.
Okay.
But so, Reese, you're fine. We're gonna be getting out of here soon. Yes. I promise. So, But no, I stopped watching it because I figured, for the sake of the podcast, the main thing that we're talking about now is Vigilantes. So
Yeah, for sure. Like
let
more
me-
recent stuff,
let me
Like
get
Naruto's
more
great and all, but like it is an old series. Like if we want to, I mean, honestly, like if we want to be talking modern stuff, like recent things, I should be talking about the latest chapters of the Boruto manga,
Yeah,
and
so-
not the Land of Waves arc of Naruto from like 2002.
So either way, I figure I get more enthralled in that My Hero universe.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't regret.
And it's a quicker watch. It's a much quicker watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already in.
You're like
season 3.
Out of 8,
Yeah.
and 8 isn't even out yet. So you're on season 3 out of 7.
So
Yeah.
you said 8 isn't out yet? They're still making the show?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're watching this to be caught up when the final season comes out.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Dude, I promise you, I plan the shows that we're watching for a reason. Like I try to when we're watching old shows, it's specific. Like with Fire Force and this, it's so that we can be caught up when the finales come out.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, you need to finish JJK season 2.
Yeah. I need to finish.
I really need to, and viewers, like, help me, please. When you can do comment now or when we actually talk about it. But I'm so confused by the end of season 2 of JJK.
Yeah.
All right, I have no idea what the hell happened from that night where they're with what is his name? It's been a while since I've seen it now, but not Goto.
Oh yeah.
Goto versus
Ghetto.
is it Goto?
Gojo and Ghetto.
Yeah, Goto.
Yeah. Ghetto.
Ghetto and I'm trying to say Koichi,
Mike?
but it's not Koichi. The main character and
Oh, Yuji. Yuji.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
So there is like no and like I said, there's like this space where there's like notes, right? Like an image pops up of Gojo inside the prison like realm or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like a note in Japanese. I don't know what it says, but maybe that's all the information that I need. But there's a space between that night and then the next day, and no explanation. Okay, no explanation at all. There's just like you can hear like the radio broadcast and stuff, and then here's Yuji
Mhm.
just standing there on a bridge, and then like he does something like calls for or like does like a call or something, and like something comes out of the water, and that's it. It's like, well, what happened? I don't know what happened from that night to that morning. Where did Ghetto go? Where did Gojo go?
I definitely need to finish that season so I can help you figure
have no
that out
idea.
because I don't know either.
So right now, and I had to watch it twice. I watched the last
Oh, you watched
episode
it
of
twice.
season 2 twice, and I still have no idea. So somebody help me out there. Chance, if you watch it, you help me out there.
Absolutely.
Maybe I can Google Translate what that stuff said. I don't know. But I need to know before the season 3 comes out.
All right.
So I'm not completely puzzled by what the hell's going on.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, Reese says time is up.
Yeah, it's about time.
Thank you for the follows.
Yeah, thank you for everybody who tuned in today. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
for watching. Follow us on all podcasting platforms. We
YouTube, Twitch,
are only on video,
TikTok.
on YouTube, and of course we're live on Twitch. So we tried to go live on TikTok today. It didn't work out. There's some validating we need to do, and we'll try that again next time. But just bear with us. We're still new to this.
Yeah, and then every now we don't really have a schedule in place for this yet, but eventually we're gonna start playing games on our Twitch and YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be super sweat.
Yeah,
because we're pretty bad at or we're not pretty bad. We're not great at most these games that we stream.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely not great.
We're not like in Unreal and Fortnite.
I'm just an old man trying to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see us there soon. I promise. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see a little bit of a different side of us. Maybe one that you don't want to see. But you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.